I'm 49, I'm a chiropractor, and I've been practicing for 20 years. I've been, well, I guess some people would call me a health fanatic, Mr. Wellness. I used to run a lot as a competitive runner. I was ranked very highly in New Zealand and Australia over 5,000 and 10,000 metres. Written a book on athletics. I coach a squad of kids in Melbourne. Very active, very well, very healthy. Always looked after myself.
Keith and I have been married for 17 years. We have 5 children. Annabelle's 14, Miranda 10, Conrad 7, Henry's 4 and Mietta, well, she's 8 months. We had a practice in Swan Hill for up to 15 years when Keith was ready to take a back seat, and we'd got some beautiful American people out that were ready to take the practice over, so we decided to have a little inland sea change to Barmer in the wetlands on the Murray. I just had a urgency about me with the children getting to that high school age. It was time to move to Bendigo. And so we took the step and bought a property down here to develop into a clinic.
Function influences everything. Alive Chiropractic may be able to help you feel alive again. Care for yourself and your family. Bring on a smile and feel alive with Dr. Keith. Alive.
There's no reason for me to be, wary of anything. Just had a lovely, relaxed day. Best day, really. Best day we had in practice. I was typing up a newsletter for the Australian Spinal Research Foundation, bolt upright in the office. My memory tells me it was like a TV screen, when you pull the plug out and it implodes to a little white thing. I can remember that. And a huge bang, like someone let off a shotgun in my ear. Then I woke up with people surrounding me, and I was on the floor, and I had urine. I had wet pants.
So he was, certainly happy to be alive, I'll say that. And within 2 days he was having neurosurgery and a biopsy. So, it was very real that I could have lost him in those first couple of days.
I'd had none of the signs that you'd expect for a brain tumour, and being a chiropractor, I'm well aware what those red flags are. That's the tumour mass in there. It's on the right side of my brain, meaning it should be affecting my left side function, but that's all perfect. I can stand on one foot and box a speedball, and I shouldn't be able to do that. I can stand on my left foot and tie my right shoelaces. All these things which I shouldn't be able to do, but I can. So it's, it makes you wonder how many other people are out there with tumours in their heads who are functioning well. We had to wait 3 months for my income protection to kick in, so it was a terrible time because we still had payments to meet on everything else and all your usual things. At least a couple of $1 million worth of real estate out there. That was all leveraged to the hilt. So we basically flogged most of it off at fire sale prices just to get through and to get the banks off our backs.
At the same time, we've ended up with a beautiful building that we had to sell on, and now we're committed to a 10-year lease on that building. And that happened just at the time that Keith initially collapsed. So we lost our asset, meanwhile still owing quite a lot on the build that we had to pay off out of cash flow. So there's all these other factors around the situation that created incredible stress. And, I'm amazed that we're still here. And as a family and as a couple, that was huge. Meant a lot of things to the children, that sense of normality. I heard a quote once that the worst thing you can do to a middle class person is to say they're no longer middle class, to take that away from them, that ability to be who they are and make those decisions for themselves.
What's going to happen to my wife and kids? I had visions of a Dickensian poorhouse, being carted off and all that sort of stuff. And like I said, everything was imploding and not able to do a thing about it. Just having to be in bed and sleep all the time, so
We just say thank goodness we had the little bit we had, which was income protection and term life cover. And without the income protection, I don't know where we would be. We'd be living on Mr. Rudd, whoever the treasurer is at the time, you know, because there was just no way the practice was able to sustain us without Keith working in it.
With my income protection, luckily I was able to go back to work, which wasn't really too good. And you know, it's a lot of energy you're putting into clients and patients. And one day I saw 58 people, you know, and it's just all too much when you're getting over a tumour, you know.
Not having trauma cover, big mistake. Even a very small amount would have been very helpful. Even something like $100,000 would have gone a long way to buying you a couple of years' worth of time till you resolve things like selling practices, staff, covering all your repayments.
It was lack of quality advice, you know.
Asking more questions. I didn't ask enough questions. Didn't know I had to ask questions. I'd actually never heard of trauma insurance. So it's up to the advisors to not undersell their clients, to make sure they understand the full ramifications of what each insurance entails. Just because you've got one policy doesn't mean it's going to cover you for every scenario, and to be aware of what's in your policy.
What should have occurred is just gone to a broker, like a one-stop shop, have all these boxes to tick off for the different types of insurance, okay, and made sure I was covered every which way, because, you know, you've got this business to run and staff to pay, you've got your family to support. If you're establishing a new business and you're leasing or buying stuff and you've got outgoings, you want to have all those outgoings covered. So luckily I do have an insurance that's kicking in, but I've been diagnosed as terminal to get that. It's made a total difference to my outlook and my view of things.
Thank goodness we had that, but it's not a nice diagnosis. Thankfully Keith's very positive, and we're all very positive for him, and we feel this is his second chance to get better.